Sydney Sweeney is one of Hollywood's fastest rising stars, known for hits like Euphoria and The White Lotus. But recently, she's found herself at the center of a whirlwind controversy that exploded overnight, all sparked by a single American Eagle ad. What started as a fashion campaign quickly turned into a heated culture war, making headlines and dividing opinions across the internet. Let's unpack what really happened behind the drama and why the claim that she lost everything overnight doesn't tell the full story. 1. A rising star with a clean public image. Before the controversy, Sydney Sweeney's public image was almost textbook Hollywood success. Born in Spokane, Washington, she started acting in her teens, building a resume with guest spots on TV dramas before landing her breakout role in HBO's Euphoria. Her portrayal of Cassie Howard, a messy, vulnerable, deeply human character, made her a fan favorite and a critic's darling. She followed it with The White Lotus, where her performance as Olivia Mossbacher showed a completely different side of her reign, cementing her as one of the most versatile young actors in the business. Off-screen, Sweeney cultivated an approachable persona. She was the kind of celebrity who shared behind-the-scenes photos from set, restoration projects on her vintage car, and snapshots of her dog, Tank. Interviews painted her as ambitious but grounded, with a work ethic shaped by years of careful career building. She rarely waded into political or cultural debates, which helped her maintain a broad, mostly positive audience appeal. Her brand partnerships reflected that image. She became a sought-after face for fashion labels, beauty products, and lifestyle companies eager to tap into her mix of glamour and relatability. By mid-2025, Sydney Sweeney was considered safe territory, a marketable star with no visible controversies attached. 2. The American Eagle ad that lit the match. The spark came in the form of a glossy American Eagle campaign. In it, Sydney Sweeney appears in the brand's signature denim, fitted jeans, a casual tank, the kind of approachable styling the label has built its identity on. The slogan was a cheeky double entendre: Sydney Sweeney has great gene. On screen and in print, the wordplay was paired with subtle visual nods to gene, DNA helix graphics in the background, a wink at inherited traits. For some, it was clever marketing. For others, it was a loaded statement. Critics on social media quickly argued that the "great genes" pun, combined with the imagery, hinted at eugenics, a belief system historically tied to racist and exclusionary ideology. The timing didn't help. The U.S. was already in the middle of another wave of online battles over reproductive rights, identity politics, and the intersection of fashion with political messaging. Within hours of the ad's debut, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram were filled with posts dissecting its intent. Hashtags shifted from #great genes to #eugenics gene. Fashion commentary threads were overtaken by heated political debates. What began as a denim promotion jumped almost instantly from style blogs into mainstream political discourse, becoming a flashpoint far beyond the runway. 3. Political fuel. The Trump fact. The controversy might have remained a heated but contained online argument if not for the intervention of one of the most polarizing figures in American politics. Just a day after the American Eagle had started trending, Donald Trump publicly praised it, calling it fantastic. His endorsement wasn't purely about marketing. Reports surfaced that he'd learned Sydney Sweeney was a registered Republican, and that fact alone reframed the conversation for millions of people watching from the sideline. Trump's approval acted like lighter fluid on an already active fire. Progressive commentators, who had criticized the ad's "great genes" messaging, now framed it as part of a broader conservative cultural agenda. Headlines shifted from fashion controversy to Hollywood star aligns with right-wing politics, even though Sweeney herself hadn't made any direct political statements. On the flip side, conservative media outlets and influencers rushed to defend her, praising both the ad and what they perceived as her political stance. In today's hyper-polarized media climate, celebrity political affiliation, even unspoken one, matter because they give each side a symbol to rally around or tear down. For Sweeney, that meant a denim commercial was no longer about jeans at all. It was about choosing a camp in the culture wars. The internet war, supporters versus critics. What followed was a full-scale internet battle, the kind that moves so fast it's hard to pinpoint where it started and impossible to stop once it's rolling. On Twitter's X, trending topics flipped between "great genes," "eugenics genes," and simply "Sydney Sweeney," each tag carrying its own ecosystem of hot takes, image edits, and 30-second explainer video. Viral threads broke down the ad frame by frame, circling circling the DNA helix in the background or zooming in on textural details in her clothing, as if decoding a secret message. Memes became the primary weapon on both sides. Critics turned the slogan into mock-up ads for everything from dystopian sci-fi movies to designer political campaign. Supporters countered with edits portraying Sweeney as an unbothered queen of free expression, often overlaying her denim poses with patriotic imagery or ironic captions like, "Just here for the jeans, not the gene." The speed was dizzying. Within 36 hours, what had started as a marketing push had evolved into a culture war symbol. For critics, she was a cautionary tale about how brands slip political dog whistles into mainstream media. For fans and defenders, she was the latest celebrity caught in the crossfire of hypersensitive internet outrage. Either way, her image was no longer just about clothes. It was a billboard for whatever people wanted to project onto it. 5. Claims she lost everything. As the backlash snowballed, phrase "Sydney Sweeney lost everything overnight" began popping up across headline, YouTube thumbnails, and comment section. In this context, "lost everything" meant a presumed implosion of her career. Angry online mobs, scathing think pieces, and speculation that brands would drop her to avoid the controversy. The narrative was familiar, a celebrity misstep, intentional or not, followed by an industry cold shoulder. But the reality didn't match the hype. No studio announced that she'd been removed from upcoming projects. No brand deals were publicly canceled. Her name didn't disappear from casting rumors or trade coverage. In fact, her visibility increased. She was suddenly in more headlines, more feeds, and more discussions than before the ad aired. Behind the noise, the measurable fallout leaned in the opposite direction of loss. The controversy didn't shrink her profile, it amplified it. The most dramatic evidence came from the business side. American Eagle's stock and market value were about to see a record-breaking boost. Far from vanishing from Hollywood's good graces, Sweeney's bad week was starting to look like a financial windfall, just not in the way anyone expected at the start of the uproar. 6. The financial twist: American Eagle soars. The most surprising turn in the saga wasn't about Sweeney's reputation, it was about the numbers. Within just 24 hours of the ad's release, American Eagle's market capitalization surged by roughly $400 million. The company's stock price spiked as much as 30%, marking its biggest single rally since the year 2000. For a brand that has faced stiff competition in the fast fashion era, this was a staggering leap, and it came directly on the heels of a campaign that many had labeled a PR disaster. Market analysts, watching the sudden climb, dubbed it the most effective ad campaign of the year. The reasoning was simple: controversy drives awareness, and awareness drives sales. Whether consumers were buying in solidarity, out of irony, or simply because the ad had lodged itself in their brain, American Eagle's denim was moving. This financial twist underlined a reality that's become more visible in the age of social media. Outrage isn't always bad for business. In fact, for companies willing to weather a storm, it can be a catalyst for unprecedented profit. For Sweeney, it meant that instead of being remembered as a cautionary tale, her face was tied to one of the most commercially successful and politically charged fashion ads in recent memory. 7. Public appearances after the storm. Sweeney didn't hide. Less than a week into the uproar, she stepped onto a Los Angeles red carpet for a special screening of her crime thriller Americana on August 3rd, held at Desert 5 Spot. Photogs got the full tableau. Sweeney smiling, posing with co-stars, staying present, a deliberate, public reset. She leaned into spectacle, wearing a custom Danielle Frankel corseted ball gown and a pale headband, a look that read classic, not combative, and kept working the step and repeat instead of ducking out. Style watchers logged the details the next morning, reinforcing the headline that she showed up and owned the frame. Back home, the family tone matched hers, light and unbothered. Her brother Trent riffed on the "it's them good genes" discourse with a wry Instagram story, effectively signaling that the Sweeneys weren't rattled by the meme cycle. And rather than retreat from promo, Sweeney kept to schedule, pushing Americana with local TV hits and clip packages as the film marched toward its August 15th theatrical date. The message was simple: keep the work moving, keep the focus on the movie, and let the online storm burn itself out. 8. What losing everything means in the digital age. In today's digital landscape, the phrase "losing everything" rarely means what it used to. By 2025, it often refers more to a collapse of public perception or a sudden online backlash than to actual financial or career ruin. Social media can amplify criticism to deafening level, making any controversy feel like an existential threat to a celebrity's future. But the the truth is far more nuanced. For Sydney Sweeney, the whirlwind around the American Eagle campaign didn't shut her doors. It threw them wide open. The controversy expanded her public profile, making her a household name far beyond her existing fan base. In the celebrity economy, attention, positive or negative, has real currency, fuels brand value, increases media coverage, and often leads to new opportunities. Reputational damage and skyrocketing visibility frequently coexist. The louder the storm, the stronger the signal, and for some stars, that signal translates into staying power rather than disappearance. Sydney Sweeney's case is a textbook example of how, in the digital age, losing the narrative doesn't necessarily mean losing everything. 9. Closing. The Sydney Sweeney effect. Whether you view Sydney Sweeney as reckless, unlucky, or strategically savvy, the facts are clear. She didn't lose her career or her standing. Instead, she became the face of one of the most talked-about ad campaigns of 2025, a campaign remembered less for denim and more as a landmark in viral marketing entangled with politics. In today's culture war climate, the biggest loss isn't necessarily fading away. It's becoming the center of a conversation you can't fully control. Sydney Sweeney's story shows how fame, controversy, and commerce collide in unpredictable ways, and how sometimes simply being talked about is its own form of survival. If you found this interesting, hit like and subscribe for more real stories. What are your thoughts on Sydney Sweeney's controversy? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to ring the bell for updates. Thanks for watching.